Hey, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the council meeting, to the Nelson City Council meeting, April the 11th, 2022. Go ahead and have a word of prayer. Brother Steve, would you lead
Sure.
a word of prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come together and meet as a city. We just ask for your wisdom and your discernment for all of our leaders here today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Jenny, can you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Nathan, James, all in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Public appearance. Does anybody have anything pertaining to our agenda tonight that they'd like to speak on? Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm Mike Brown. I stay at 1445 Pickens Creek. And I'm come to speak on some things that were brought to my attention over the weekend. That Iris and Sue Cochran been up here in the City Hall asking Kelsey about who gave the Ruckers that trailer. I don't know what that's in my business. And
What?
asked you about who gave the Ruckers that trailer, who donated that trailer. Iris and Sue Cochran.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'll bring it up tomorrow talk. But anyway, I'm like getting a little upset with those things that, you know, being done and being said and brought back to me. Same way when you said that the mayor said that the color of my trailer was not suitable for the community.
No one has ever
And,
said that.
So you always on the fence right for, you know, you didn't look into it. See.
I think your place
But
looks
you and I had a
nice.
conversation,
Yeah,
and I
because,
have no problem with that. And I'll say that
Evans
publicly.
told David that, and David brought it to me when you all at the time at the water tower. And it brought up in conversation. And I'm like, I keep running my trailer clean, I keep it nice and painted, and I don't bother nobody. Now, I'm still in court dealing with what Kelsey, Queen, and you all done back in 2019 when you went to court and accused me of the things that I did.
Michael, I'm going to stop you right here. This is a council meeting. If you want to have a conversation about this agenda, I would love to hear it. If not, please make an appointment. I'll be happy to.
No, I don't make appointments with you.
I'm done.
I have made appointments.
You're either going to sit down and be quiet, or we can have a
No, I do
conversation
get
about the
no, I'm
agenda.
gonna leave. But the next time you hear from me, it's my attorney.
I'm good with that, and I'm more than willing to talk with you, just not
No,
during
but you don't
this.
talk.
Yes, sir, I'm willing. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else have anything to do with public appearance, or have anything to say for public appearance? Steve, you want to use this as an opportunity real quick to tell us about the garden, since it is on?
I was gonna wait, but it's all right. Just a little update. The community garden was tilled a while ago by the sheriff, and we had wood chips delivered. We have walk paths now going through the center and out to the picnic table. We've got all the hoses in and nozzles. We have 13 people that are so far participating. We have 11 plots left. We increased the size from 12 by 12 to 20 by 20 to make it bigger for people. We had a sign installed out there that says community garden. We planted, I think, 100 mammoth sunflowers around it. So that'll pop up here in the next month or so, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Any questions?
That looks good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else have anything for the agenda for this evening? I'd like to bring up or talk about? Okay. Again, thank you guys for being here. Let's take a look at the approval minutes for March the 7th, 2022, and I'll need a motion to approve those minutes.
I make the motion to approve.
I don't know.
Was
Second.
That was James and Nathan. All in favor? Thank you, unanimous. Department reports. Lieutenant Downey, would you like to comment on your department report on the Cherokee County side?
So, 2 months in a row, we've had 0 reported crimes within the city, which is good. We did have 2 funeral escorts that we escorted from Pickens County through the city on downtown, or Highway 5. But just a reminder to everyone, next week, we're having our town hall meeting. The more people that we have, I think the more opportunity we have to voice our opinions, ask questions of not only law enforcement, but representatives throughout the state. We're going to have some elected officials there, so I'd like to invite everyone, especially everyone on council, mayor. I expect you to be there.
Yes, sir.
But,
What day is that on?
It's Thursday, April 21st at 6 o'clock, and it's down at Ball Ground United Methodist. So if you're going south on Highway 5, it's on the right just before 372. But I'm excited, and I'd like to see everyone there, especially from the community, because like I told y'all, this is kind of like my home now, the city of Nelson, so I'd like to see everyone there. Thank you.
When you gonna move up this way?
What's that?
When you gonna move up here?
It's hard to give up what I got now. How about my work home, James?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Work home.
You take the 22nd.
What's that? The 21st, Thursday the 21st. Next Thursday, not this coming, but next.
I would like to have Miss Kim Bayer come up and give a report on our Easter event. And I want to go ahead and take this time to say I appreciate everything that you did. It turned out spectacular, and I know there was a lot of work that went into it.
Thank you. Well, so I'm not quite sure how many we had. I don't know if anyone did a count of how many we had come, but we started set up around 7:30, and we had 2 bouncy houses, and we had some music, which was wonderful. And then we had the hot dogs and hamburgers, and it was a nice sized crowd, I felt. And we had, unfortunately, the weather was really cold, and we had, let's see, at noon we had sleet, hail, snow, rain, and then a little bit later it was sunny. So it still stayed chilly, but we decided to have the Easter egg hunt a little bit early. And I apologize for anyone who may have come at 1 o'clock hoping for a Easter egg hunt, but we thought the weather was just going to take a turn for the worse. So we needed to just go ahead and get that in there.
We only moved it up by about 30 minutes, so I think
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all, no. But it was a great crowd, had a lot of fun. We had Cherokee Fire Services there, and it was wonderful having them there. Let's see, who else?
our council members were in attendance.
Yes.
That was greatly appreciated. So.
Yes.
We
Very
appreciate
nice.
y'all too.
Yeah, well, appreciate you attending. Yeah, it was a great turnout, and we had a great time.
I actually had a couple phone calls from my folks in Nelson that had attended, and they said this was like super nice, and they appreciated it. It was really good.
Yeah,
So I
look
think
forward
we
to some of the
reached-
next.
I do, and I'm hoping that that we'll meet maybe right after Easter and talk about some movies in the park for the summer.
Yeah.
That you partner with me. I appreciate your help.
Yes, yes. Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
So with that said, I need to amend the budget, but I think I'm gonna wait. I think we went over a couple $100, but I'm gonna wait until I have a total dollar for y'all to do that. So we had a couple of things that happened. Our cake budget got blown because Sam saw Easter and thought that it was next Easter. That kind of, I had to get Publix to put us one together at the last minute. And we ended up having to order some more eggs, and our eggs were a little over the top ordering them for Amazon.
It's right at 1,400.
Did it?
I mean, there's still $100, so that's what I'm saying, if you did it
Just do it
around
for
15, I
14.
just don't want to forget the next one.
Okay. So you want to go ahead and try to amend it now?
Is that okay, I think? Just because we had set a hard budget of 1,000. Yeah, I just want to fix it because I mean,
I would go ahead and
to amend that.
Can I get a motion to amend it from 1,000 to, you said 1,500, just
I
to
would
kind of
say
make sure
15,
things
I don't
go?
think it was quite that much, but just because there were other receipts in the, from whenever I was gone, which is adding up was a little over 400. And I think when we had added it up prior to that, it was right under 1,000.
I thought it was like, anyway, for some reason, when I added them, I thought I said it was like 1,300.
What was in the administrative report, it was right at 4. That was in the envelope.
I think it was the last 13, but anyway. So can I get a motion to amend that budget to 1,500? It won't be that much, but we'll give you a definite number at our next meeting.
I'll make a motion, we amend it.
Okay, James, please second.
Second.
David, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. Nathan, I did talk with Lori. The piece of sidewalk down here was replaced. I don't know if you saw that.
I think I saw a little section.
That they replaced that section of sidewalk that was cracked rather than doing anything else with it. Just went ahead and did it. Has anybody else had an opportunity, council, to go down and take a look at the project?
Fixing that piece you're talking about, they're busting it out back in.
I think they're working on the round of the cul-de-sac now, and then once they get all that ready, they'll come in and do the paving and pave the turn radius, level out our bump, and
I think they put some more stuff in there since then. There's some.
they did put a little bit more in there, I think, so.
Was Barry ever able to come up and do any checks?
He is waiting on final elevation things, and then he said he'll come out. And he did, he's gonna come out and have a conversation here and talk about why it may look that way. And he was telling me that it has to do with a 100-year storm, 50-year and 100-year storm, and the way that it is on this side of Kennesaw versus the way that it is on this side, and how they had to adjust it for those, the 100-year and the 50-year. He said you would understand. But he's going to come out and actually have a, David will understand. So he said he will give them a little bit, he'll get those elevations and then plug them into the tool. I guess they have a tool. And he said then he'll come out and have a conversation and just talk to the council about everything. He wants to do a tie-off anyway. So. So there was that, and then I'll wait till do the Kiddy Park until we get down to it. Is there anything else you guys can think of? The trees aren't quite ready yet. We're waiting on them to find some of the trees that we have, and I got a call Lori back. We played phone tag. So some of the trees they didn't have in stock right now, so, and I asked her to let's get a hold of somebody, like they have an arborist with Cherokee County, so I asked her, rather than me telling her what flowers to put in there, let's go back to their arborist and take a look and see, this is what was recommended by Michael Kidd, there's a color, the color was done on purpose, the way that it was done, so let's see what colors we need if we can't find those colors that was recommended. That'll match, because I'm pretty sure what I would put will match. So, that's not my expertise. With that said, anybody got any questions for me with regards to Kennesaw Avenue or anything like that? All right. Ms. Miranda, I'll turn it over to you for a finance report.
All righty, we'll go over.
I want to say one more thing, sorry. On April the 20th, I will back up, we have a meeting with Cherokee County for the SPLOST stuff, the funds that's going to be dispersed. We've got a couple of emails back and forth between myself and Jeff and what the Cherokee side was supposed to get versus what they got last year. My thing is I've asked James to go with me. Miranda has asked her to go with me. We're going to take our capital improvement projects, what we have upcoming, what we've got budgeted, and also use our master park plan and our stormwater drainage projects that we have. And we're going to go back with them and talk with them. I agree we only have roughly 1,300 people, but these 1,300 people here don't have a store, they don't have a gas station, and they don't have anything else. So we buy our stuff from the dollar store or if we go into Canton. So that's why Jerry Cooper in the past gave us the money that he gave us, is because he realized our dollars were spent in those counties. So we're gonna use that, try to use that as a leverage to at least get what we got last time so we can continue with our projects. Because we do have a number of stormwater projects that we want to do, and we've got our master park plan, so. And that's on April the 20th. Would anybody else like to go to that meeting? It's at 6 o'clock on the 20th. I think they're gonna allow 4 people, is what it said. 2 council, me and 2 council members, and,
I don't know, just saying,
Yeah.
if it is,
so,
I don't think I'll be able to make it.
okay,
6 o'clock afternoon, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
yeah, so I think it's at the Bluffs Convention Center, if I remember correctly.
It's at the walk.
At the Bluffs in Canaan.
Yeah.
I should really go if you need me.
Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, Miranda, I'll try and go with you.
Okay. All right, so let's go over the bank balances currently. The general fund's at 904,481. The SPLOS 3, the old Cherokee SPLOS, is 39,295. SPLOS 4, Cherokee, is 431,228. SPLOS 2, which is the older SPLOS for Pickens, 401,920. SPLOS 5, which is the new Cherokee, the newest, 709,116. The cash reserve fund is 166,683. Pickens SPLOS 2022 or 2020 is the most recent SPLOS that's currently active for Pickens, $504,400. And then the grant, we're sitting at $83,386. So with that, the cash reserve fund, we also are going to look at rolling the, keeping our contingency, our reserve, our cash reserve up. So we've got to do a bank transfer on that coming up, based off of last year's numbers. Upcoming, the next couple months is very crucial, very important. We've got to be real busy in the finance world. So fiscal year 2023 is coming up. The budget calendar tentatively is, I would like to have this proposed 2023 budget presented to the council on the May the 2nd meeting. And then potentially do a public hearing and a work session around May the 19th, maybe the middle of May. And then the final review and approval June the 6th. That way we can get it done and approved and in the system and good to go when it comes time to roll from one year to the next. Also would like to mention that we do have the millage rate adoption coming up, which would probably need to be put on the July, right, July meeting.
If it's June or if it's July, because we have to have Pickens and Cherokee done at the same time this year.
Yeah.
Have to check it.
So, with that being said,
Well, we have both of those millage rates by June? Or no?
that's what I'm wondering. And with this being our first time with Pickens, I'm not sure at what point we'll have the digest numbers. But I know with Cherokee in the past, we've been able to get it done about the 1st of July. So I'm kind of thinking it's going to be the same somewhat schedule with Pickens.
They're the ones that set, well, they're the ones that set the date.
What did they say?
That agreement. I can't, I emailed it to you.
I think it was like the end of July, middle of
Just not
July.
positive.
Yeah.
I know it was July something.
Would Daniel Reese be the one that did that?
Who she's been talking to? Who you been talking to?
I know, well, I talked to him, but I know there's other people, and Rebecca, somebody's involved with it too.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So we can find that out,
Okay.
but if we could do that kind of, together, it would be probably a little easier. And with that being said, we also have to adopt the CIP, the capital improvement plan again. So we just need to, as a group, be thinking about what we're going to include, which is the prime time, because we've got to go to.
Let's go ahead and set a meeting date for that,
Yeah.
a work session for that one.
Because I'd like to get that kind of in the works. We can start talking about it. I mean, well, obviously we talk about it a good bit, but throughout the meetings.
It we want to adopt in May, so we probably need to do it in April, so, we're on April the 11th, we're in April the 11th.
Well, we're gonna adopt, and if we don't wanna do the 1st of June, we can always do a cold meeting, middle of June, which is what we've done in the past. Just trying to get ahead of the game, where, you know, the sooner the better. So proposed is May the 2nd meeting, if possible, so.
Let's look at a, you want to do the Thursday, the 21st or 28th, either day, Candace?
We can't do the 21st.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We've got prior commitments on the 21st.
Can everybody do it on April the 28th? Okay, you're out of town. How about on Tuesday, can we do it on Tuesday, the 26th?
Honestly, you wanna do it on Tuesday, or?
I know in the past we usually do our work sessions on Thursday, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm pretty easy.
What about the 19th? That way we could get it of April before we go to the SPLOS meeting, so we'll have
Okay.
fresh new
I like that.
ideas and thoughts and.
Anybody opposed to doing our work session on 4/19, which is next Tuesday?
Thursday. Is it Tuesday?
No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Thursday's
Seven different days.
Yeah, Thursday.
I know that's short.
I'm trying to get around it.
Short, it was short notice, but I mean, we've been knowing it's coming for a while, so.
But with that being said, we'd be able to get, again, ahead of the game, and it's right before that SPLOS meeting, so we can really have fresh, clear visions of, you know, where we're headed. And it's just for conversational pieces anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Talking about stuff like that in the SPLOS meeting, I'm having a meeting with Mike Havlin sometime this week to discuss sidewalks and thoughts. He wants to meet and talk about it, so.
Well, you do that, so that way you can bring that back to us
Well, I
come
was
next
thinking-
week.
He's been trying to get that done, especially on Pickens Street for a long time. I
It
know
was
he talked about it.
brought up in our homeowners meeting association meeting the other day, and I said, I've not said anything about putting sidewalks out that way or anything, because, oh, the new guy on council is trying to get sidewalks.
Oh, you
for the
can- you
subdivision.
can bring
But
up
now that
anything.
members of my community have brought it up, that's one of those
We need
things.
to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
I have
did do
people
it.
call here a
We
lot
can.
and ask
Yeah.
about it.
I thought he got the right of ways straightened out. He done a bunch of legwork on it a few years ago.
The right of ways up there, everything past his house is the county.
Yeah,
On that,
Well, because
No.
Evan didn't sign over for the road.
yeah.
So, but I think Mike had worked something with it, like he had discussions with the county to like partner with them or something.
Mhm.
I don't remember everything, but I remember him talking
That's
about it when he was
some
on
of the stuff,
council.
he said he had whole paperwork and new
Yeah.
paperwork.
He had done a lot of
ideas and
stuff on
thoughts,
it.
and
you still.
Well, how do you-
County got a right of way all the way out through the road.
Yeah, it's like 50 feet. Yeah,
So the sidewalk would fall in.
well, it would fall within theirs, but I think it's just,
basically, it looks like from what I see, if the right of way's right, it'd switch over to our side of the road from about where it's at now, probably. And I imagine you'll have right of way from when the subdivisions were built there, but again, first time I've looked at it.
How far out do you want to go?
Yeah, probably as far as we've got right of way. I thought would be, if nothing else, at least maybe to the entrance of where we've got the last street on that side, I guess.
Yeah, you need to go to the last entrance anyways.
Yeah.
That's subdivision, yeah.
Well, see, actually, on that property went to the railroad track.
it does, it goes all the way down to
Yeah, I don't know how
that
far their right of way comes up or anything. I said, I
Yeah.
haven't looked at anything. I know he's just wanting to talk about it, so.
It's like we own
So I
everything but
wanted
the
to let y'all
roads.
know that.
It's, we own everything but the roads.
Yeah.
It gets kind of goofy.
I know he done a bunch of legwork
Yeah,
a
he
few
did.
years ago.
And I have people call, and there's a lady that lives down here on Kennesaw Avenue. She has a son that gets on the bus, and she's called just because her son has to walk that corner, and cars come ripping by there. And I mean, granted, I think he's middle school or high school, so it's not like a really young kid, but I've had a couple of people requesting it.
I think the county would work with us, and I don't think it'd be that big a deal.
Just letting y'all know
Okay.
that, so they ain't gonna do anything about everybody.
Well, bring your,
Mike does a
bring
good
your
job of stuff like that.
stuff back.
He's a pretty smart fellow, so
He is.
they're definitely worth listening to.
The audit, so go ahead and bring that audit finding up where we're all on the same page again with the,
Yeah, May.
Hmm.
Do it on the May one?
no, I want to talk about what we found, what the thing that was reversed, that we fixed, that was reversed again.
It has been
It's
ongoing
not
for like
bad.
3 years.
It's been going on.
It's like fixed.
It's fixed now?
Yeah, it says fixed.
Yeah.
It'll be a finding again.
Yeah, it'll be in the
Nope.
next one too. Well, yeah, it'll be in this upcoming one because it was in this fiscal year too.
I would have thought that if they made the boo-boo, they wouldn't have put it on there.
Miranda found it and we fixed it. We have the emails, we have everything
I
that's
know, I've
fixed.
seen
And
all of
then
it.
she went in and fixed it. And when they fixed it, it messed it up again. So then we finally fixed it.
So
Well,
long story short,
okay, so long
you may find that it may be the same finding.
For like 5 years.
Yeah.
I think after this year, I think it'll be fine. I think.
What'll be in the next upcoming
Yeah,
audit.
Miranda had
So
put it
what
in-
happened was,
There you
we
go.
switched banks. Let me just pull this out there.
Money.
So we switched banks, and during that transition, the direct deposits for some of the SPOS went into the wrong account,
General fund.
into the general fund. So what had happened was, in September, we corrected that. Little unbeknownst to the auditor, in December when they were here, they also corrected it, and did a journal entry.
We get a wrist slap.
So then we went back and tried to correct it ourselves again, and it did not correct, so we did it twice instead of just once, actually. Was it twice or 3
I
times?
don't even know at this point.
Yeah, so with that being said, we now have it under control. I did reach out to the auditors come this past October because I felt like it was gonna be an issue again. And then, sure enough, it's an issue. So we got complete clarity from them on how to move forward. And
Lots of printed paper trails.
so now we have, Kelsey and I have fixed it yet again. So,
Hope we don't-
But you'll see it, so I just want everybody to know ahead of time. One more thing I want to talk about is the website that we have. I'll have Kelsey print off all of the emails, so you guys can review it. We'll get Jeff a copy. Long story short, I did not do a contract with regards to the website, the new website. We do have video of where Keith basically said he could help facilitate a website for the city. Never was my understanding, and I don't know about you guys, but it was never my understanding that Keith was going to be responsible for that website. That's not what he sold. So we found out because he told Kelsey that he sent an email and said he would be more than willing to maintain the website for $150 a month when we sent the stuff to have him uploaded because we have not had proper training. Kelsey had a training, which he ended up coming down here. It's a long story, and I'll share that. I'm not going to put that on nobiggins.com tonight. But anyway, interjected himself into that training, and the training didn't go well, and she didn't get what she needed. So I requested another training with Justin. Justin agreed to the training, and then I get an email back from Justin saying that Keith said his part was done. So, to which my reply was, I want a training from Justin on this website. There's things that I need to know. One, I need to know some stuff on the back, with the back end of it. How hard is it going to be to get our sanitation bills?
You can't link it the way we have it done.
Well, we can't, but if we've got somebody else, that was a website guru, and I've been looking, I found one.
Yeah, it needs to link to our software.
But we have to have access to this guy, because he's the one that built the back end of it. According to him, he's sent this email, he's worked with Keith for a long time, and that he doesn't want to jeopardize their friendship. And I said, well, actually the money was paid to you, so you did it for the city. This had nothing to do with Keith. It went back and forth, and so I had a conversation this evening with Jeff about it. If we have to get rid of the website, take it completely down, can we go after him for the funds back?
I mean, if you breach the agreement, I mean, you can have a verbal agreements. If there's been a breach of even the verbal agreement, then
There has been.
you can pursue that.
Yeah, and I have that. So we can, if we don't get what we need, which is the proper training to where we can completely remove him from the website, then I'll come back to the council and recommend that we get rid of the website and we find somebody else to do another one and pursue a refund. The website doesn't do what he sold us that it would do, which was link to the sanitation department, and you'd be able to pull your bill online and pay it. It doesn't link to our, link to the website doesn't have a link in it to where you can link to your tax bill and see what your tax bill is and pay that online, which is what it was supposed to do. It doesn't do any of those. He told Kelsey that basically she would need to upload the sanitation bills for every person that had sanitation, and then they could pay. So that's not what we need. So just to make sure I want everybody on the same page. My bad, I did not have a verbal contract. I mean, I had a verbal contract, not a physical contract. So I'll keep you updated on that. You guys have any questions on it?
I know a guy that might could help us with the website. I'll have to talk to him, but
I'd be
he
interested in
works
hearing.
IT at the school. I
Okay.
can see who they're using for their website or whatever.
That would be awesome. You have anything, Mr. Taylor? James?
We can find somebody local is what we need.
There you go, find somebody local. Well, we do know that there's people that do this, and I don't know who Ball Ground's using, but I will reach out to them. I also will reach out to Waleska and see who they're using. Probably could find somebody. If we don't have to start from scratch, that would be good, but we do need access to the back end of our website.
Not the password.
So, you do have it, okay. And then we probably need to change all those and.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one would be usable. I think it's just, you need an instruction manual to go with it.
Let's see what we can get on it. But I wanted to make sure that, that we were all on the same page and I had to put this out there for everybody. If you got any questions about it or you get some additional information, feel free to text me, call me. And I'll reach out to those folks. Okay. Next up is unfinished business. Let's move into that. We've got trail resurfacing requests for bid packets. Kelsey, I'll turn that over to you.
Okay, I wrote a request for bid and just kind of plugged into stuff. The date's gonna have to be changed. I know William said that you had gone down to look at the trail and talked to Nathan about cutting off that back end where that last little bridge is. I'll have to get, I think, some type of drawing or something just to show that, to put in here. But one of the reasons I put this on here, Sylvia and I had a meeting with Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, with Ethan Calhoun and Delmos Stone. There is another grant thing coming up for parks that they could include in this. They're wanting to do the grant for us for the park stuff that the park cleaners working on now, and they can include it. So do we proceed with putting this request for bid out, or do you want to include it and wrap it into whatever it is that they're doing? So I don't want to put this out and then have people bid on it and it's a no-go.
Here's the deal with that one, and this just keeps all on the same page. If we do that, that means waiting until fall, until this actually goes out. Do we want to go ahead and get this started? Because he said that even if the project started,
You don't get money back. Anything you spend before they open it, before you were awarded it, you do not get reimbursed.
okay.
Any funds that are spent, you're not reimbursed for.
So how important is it to move on this one to you guys, or do you want us to try and?
My guess is you're looking at about $50,000.
For the grant,
No, for if we just do it.
What are the odds of getting the grant?
what's the,
If you wrap it into the other, with them writing it and doing everything, I would say it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, they said they'll own the grant writing for us and work with Kelsey so she knows how to do it in the future.
Well, but it's also, he said that when you're going in and requesting grants for small things, you're less likely to get it. He said they're more likely to award a large grant than a small one because on their end, the work is the same amount. So it's easier for them to do several big ones than 15 or 20 small ones.
so do you know what the amount roughly the grant could possibly cover?
It's up to $500,000.
It's gonna cover multiple projects.
Yeah, you don't have to be just one thing.
I mean, it's up to everybody if we want to do a little upkeep and wait to do the grant. Maybe put some more chips or something down. What do y'all think?
It pretty much just means shore it up for the summer is what we would need to do. Add some, we can add some wood chips out there and maybe go ahead and take that one piece out, have the maintenance guys take that one piece
Well, it'll
out.
be longer than the summer, because I think the grant opens, like where the first phase opens in like between August and September. Then that goes just like that, the last one did, where they tell you probably beginning of the year if you make it to the next phase and you have to submit again. So you probably won't be able to touch it until some point next summer, would be my guess.
It's up to you guys. I mean, we have the funds to do it if you want to do it.
Or we could keep doing the mulch, which is a few $1,000 and just keep it where it's maintained until then.
If it was to get a grant for a large amount, I don't know if it's doable, but it would be nice where the little park is with the restrooms. If we had something connecting like that end to the other end, going through the woods, you know.
I don't know, I think there's a dip down there.
It
I
may not be
haven't
doable, but
looked at it, but I know there was something. But it might be something that they might be able to put some type of a.
I was thinking about that the
over.
other day when we went down and looked at it.
But the solution that you have is definitely, I think, the best one, just to cut that.
Yeah,
Because it
it's
just gets weird, one, because
it's
it's
like
really narrow.
4 different drainage areas between the middle of that bridge and the curve, the first bend down there, and there's so many knees from the trees up and everything, you'll never be able, once, if they came through there, you'd never be able to maintain it.
Mm-mm.
So I think it'd be a wiser solution to cut in another access, come up another way and loop it together, or however, but especially that section from the, what do you call it, power line or whatever, that way probably needs to be just, let it go back to natural.
Yeah, I think you'd probably take it up through the power line thing and
We
leave it in if
had,
you wanted to.
Some like bids come in before,
I've had two.
what were they ballpark?
One was 50-ish and one was, I think, mid-30s. But one had a border, one didn't have a border, one was compacting, one wasn't compacting. So that's why I was asking
So
for
we're probably
clarification
looking at
too, just to
a
make sure.
quarter again on
everything's-
top of that, the way everything's going up at least for now, so
Yeah.
75 or wait.
But it could just keep going up too.
That's right.
So it's like, it could go up, it could go down, it's like rush and all that. You just don't know. I just said whatever I ads for bid. and-
I wouldn't mind going ahead and putting it out and getting on it myself,
Yeah,
but.
and I think we have the funds for it, I just,
I mean, even if this isn't included in the grant, we can still move forward with trying to get the grant and use those funds for other things. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
That's more along the lines of a lot of the projects that
The
would be
prime-
coming up's timeframe as opposed to.
put a Band-Aid on it for right now.
and it shows it's actually using SPOS funds too.
And it is,
It's just sitting
Like,
in
we're
it.
coming up to a meeting showing we're using the SPOS funds the way they're supposed to be, and
Yeah,
And I mean, and there's other things that when we do our thing that's coming up, we can look at that. I've got my notes from him that tells what the grants will cover. So maybe we can look at our needs for the city and see if there's some projects that we can come up with that we want to do that would be included in that grant funding. So let me make a note of that.
I can't remember who we used to get the grant, get that sidewalk done. But that's the way we got in.
we need to decide too what we're doing with that wooden wall, because that fencing, I either have to renew that fencing again, or we're going to take it back out. Yeah, well, I mean,
What should
Bubba
I
had
do?
said Bubba asked if we wanted him just to go ahead and plow it back down while he's out there. But-
I would probably advise waiting until we have a solution to go back.
Yeah.
But my understanding was, this happened, I think, right before me, y'all did decide to leave the slab
Mhm.
from the bill. Is there any timeline on them getting those down yet, or?
Well, they were waiting on us, so I mean,
We
it
got
was,
the
we
power.
finally got the poles up, got the power, everything's hooked up and ready to go, and then the machine he's using had to go in the shop. So it was like the perfect storm. He's like, please let them know that this was not my fault, because he was literally calling me every single week, like, when
I
you
just
down
didn't
there,
notice they
ready,
had pulled power lines over.
It's, yeah, everything is completely ready, and I have the permits in there sitting, ready to give him, just so he can post that we're following our own rules and posting permits for things.
We just have to get them to put up fencing when they take that building down for that area too.
probably.
Yeah, that'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, I think
if
the
you
community
pull the
building, he's
wall
gonna
off-
disassemble that. It's not gonna be a crush. I think a lot
I
of it's
think
gonna
if
be
you pull that wood
disassembled.
wall right now,
Mhm.
the longer it takes to get something back, the more that thing could start sloughing off, depending on how the soils are behind it and all.
Mhm.
I don't know that I'd yank it out until close to time to put something back.
Yeah, well, because the park planner had suggested just resloping that, not having anything there. And
With
then
the
doing a
other end
sidewalk.
being, the slab being left there, you're gonna have to do some combination of walls around that.
Yeah, well, Bud was talking about the wood one, it's up
Right on the
near
uphill
the,
side.
yeah, and on the other end, you're gonna either have to do, something, because Bubba did the same thing, where it's,
You'll have to come up so
Something will
far,
have
at
to
least
be
away
done.
from that slab and do some kind of retaining wall. And that upper end probably is a pretty good candidate to be sloped back in.
Mhm.
Maybe even with some access to come around, but I mean, you do a short wall up with a wing that turns back, and then that'll be able to keep your grade to make that slab usable for stuff. Lower side, probably in that wing and everything, you might even be able to rework in, because you got that old set of steps to access the upper set coming down, the basement down there. Probably work that in with your upper wall or whatever. Come down the lower side, do a retaining wall down there, and then since in your original drawings, you kind of showed a amphitheater, park type thing, where we're thinking about doing the city hall, which kind of nixes that. If you do that in combination with that slab, with that lower entrance having pretty good access to be able to put a sidewalk in, even make it ADA, that whole area with some walls and a little bit of flattening becomes a pretty nice viewing area.
You know, make a note of
Movies
that,
and stuff.
because, when Michael Kidd comes back out, he's gonna want some suggestions
Yeah,
too
that's
from the
right.
council, so that would be a good one to make.
Just
The other thing
studying that the
is
other day.
this grant, covers, storm drainage and stuff like that. And it would, that money would go a long way, if we were to get the $500,000, it would go a long way in cleaning up, that storm drain there where behind the Rebecca Lodge, you get down those dead trees. Which if you're on the basketball court back there where kids are playing, I would suggest we did, but it'll also, we'd have to get Barry with, to come in to get us one of those, he'd have to engineer it, but he would get us, an easement from, what is that called? It's a national, it's a disturbance thing.
Land
So,
disturbance.
yeah, but he's familiar with them because he's done several in, Cherokee County.
Like, we're our own local issuing authority, which got the whole report.
Yeah, but anyway, clean that out and then rip wrap it, make it look really nice down there.
That's
It's a part
another
of
thing
our,
too, instead of just doing a retaining wall and paying money for dirt to go back in there, you can run the wall on up and then, like I said, re-level that area and keep your basketballs over there and have basketball courts, and then have more room up in the larger park area for even more stuff.
yeah.
And like I said, the right setup there, make a pretty nice viewing area.
Mm-hmm.
Paved area up there, grass area, set up your screens and anything you have set up. Like I said, that lower entrance tied in with those sidewalks would give you some accessibility pretty easy too, I believe.
I know that we, have we gotten very many,
There's a bunch of them that came back in. Like the
Good.
cars out here with shuffle, and there's a bunch in the mail, so.
Awesome.
Technically, I think the shut-off date was last Friday, so we need to get them to Michael Kidd.
yeah, let's just go ahead and use them and then we'll get set up with the next phase. He said he would come in and grab them or we can take them. Okay, so real quick, do we wanna go ahead and get bids on this park? Or the trail down here, is that what I'm hearing? Go ahead with bids, is everybody wanna make sure?
Yeah.
Nathan?
With it being that long of a time frame, I think I'd rather get started on it.
Yeah.
We're gonna put borders on it and everything, and
That's what because I think I put in here the Miranda border, and,
Okay.
I mean, I'll go back through this, because I'm gonna check the dates and stuff, because I did this for when I'm not
That
down.
might
I think
be,
it's vote on that one.
Might as well.
Okay,
if you're gonna have someone professional coming out and looking at it, it might not be a bad idea to have them take a look at, like Nathan was saying, is there a way to tie it together and bring it up? It's pretty steep looking around through there. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of drainage and stuff, and we don't end up with the same thing we've got now. It might be a good time to have a professional.
is there a good time that, you guys could meet with somebody, that if we got somebody to come out and look at it,
Late afternoon is usually anytime after about 4 o'clock, I'm usually home, or with a little bit of heads up, I'm
Yeah,
fairly flexible in the afternoon.
5:30 or so for me.
So I'm gonna say after 5:30, I'll just say 5:30 to 6.
If you catch that lower where it comes out and just run it up that way, there might be a nice path up through there that could be put in for easy, tie and come together, and then explore.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need to have something to, like, so when we go to bid, they know what it is, so everybody's bidding on the same thing.
And then have a, could even be a phase 2 thing,
Do what?
could even be a phase 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the bids for the, for resurfacing the trail park?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Nathan, or David, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, go ahead and get those. Broadband Resolution, Kelsey.
This is, they sent this in, I don't know what that is. 2022 Pickens County Broadband Amendment to the Pickens County Joint Comprehensive Plan, including municipalities of Jasper, Nelson, and Taunton. The Georgia Planning Act required local governments to develop and maintain comprehensive plan, qualify local government status and eligibility for permits, grants, and loans. Basically, it's just a resolution to adopt the broadband amendment.
Jeff, you take a look at that?
I think that
I did.
To you, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Pickens County had a public hearing on it and everything. So.
Yeah, they've already done everything on their end. I think they did, I think the hearing was about that. Talking, I'll probably have the same thing. come
Yeah, I haven't
back.
seen it yet, but.
Is there anything in here that sticks out to you?
No, it was pretty vanilla. I mean, it just said, they had a public hearing, they adopted it for everybody, and want the cities to sign on it. Sounds like, I think it's required.
Yeah, I think that's what you were
Yeah,
telling me,
this
that
is
it was
one of those
required.
the things that Miranda and I had in the classes, like, that you're required to have this stuff. It's kind of like having power and water.
This is like the first phase of it, right?
Yeah,
So
that,
is this for
I
the
think
first
it's
phase?
saying that they're getting ready for it, and it's just one of those steps.
So many grants and stuff going on, state grants, everything that is, got broadband language in it. So I think that it's gotta be done to be able to.
For them to be able to get the grant, everybody has to have resolutions in place, and the grants are out there, they can get them.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm gonna have these guys vote on this one too. So, can I get a motion to adopt the broadband resolution?
I'll make a motion.
David,
I'll second.
James, all in favor? Sign that. Next up is lease property for sanitation.
There's not anything in the market.
There's not, I had a conversation with Evan, he's, we've had a lot of rain and stuff, he did get the, there's a pipe that goes in there, I guess, so you.
Culvert.
The culvert, he did get that in, but he said it rained again, he's gonna have to do a little bit more work before we go out and take a look at it, so, haven't been out and looked at it yet, don't have a date yet, but he said hopefully the weather's gonna clear up and he'll be able to get that. He says that's really good. He says all his stuff was saturated back in there, so he's trying to get it to where it's, you know, you can get back in there and everything, so. Do you guys have any questions on that? I like I said, whenever he's able to meet, I'm gonna call you and I'll call you, Reeve. I think you guys had said you wanted to come out and take a look at it with me, so. He does know that, you know, we're looking at getting the truck in sometime in June, July, and he's on it. He said, I promise you I'm on it.
Is there any way we can get some of them cans, go ahead and start getting some of the cans?
They're supposed to, they're on order, so we'll probably get them before we have anywhere to put them.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's
Now, we can
possible.
go ahead and everybody that's on the right.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be getting them.
Start switching.
Yeah, as soon as we get them, because I think that when they come in, we have to put like the lids and the wheels or something on them. They'll have a serial number, and then we'll have like a spreadsheet with the serial number of the person's name, and have something typed up where they have to sign that they're responsible for damage, and have them pick them up and get them out.
Did we decide on a hard date for turning everything over to city sanitation? I know we wanted to get our truck first, but we thought it was gonna be later than it was, and
But the soonest we could really do it would be like January 1st, because they pay the regulatory fees for the year. So I've got,
Okay.
the thing is, there's like, what's the name of that company? Republic is now buying up a bunch of the companies. So now I think they're operating several companies, but under one parent company. They said, they finally sent me a check, I actually got it today, for one of the companies that they're operating, that is operating under Republic, but I think they're also operating a couple of the other ones that haven't paid the regulatory fee, and it's just these big conglomerations buying from mom and pops, and it's just a hassle. So we're not getting as many of the regulatory fees in as we have done.
okay. Well, at least we're making progress. We got a truck coming here. We got some attachments coming, so. As soon as I hear back from Evan, I'll reach out to you guys on that. And anybody else that wants to go and take a look at that is welcome to. Guys, so just heads up on that.
He's not interested in selling the land, it's only to
He
lease.
said not right now, and I can go into that with you in private if you don't mind, but not right now. But we are looking at another piece of land that possibly can come up within the next year. So that's where we are. Hopefully this will be a short-term resolution, and we'll be able to find an acre or two to be able to, that's just outside the city limit, or just outside of the residential area, to be able to do that. I know we talked to one person, so, and it's a possibility, but it won't be until probably fall.
And I think that shop over there sold.
And the shop sold, the guy came in, I met him, a few weeks ago. He is going to be doing shutter
assembly.
So he's doing some work on it. They're from
Yeah,
Cobb
they put a
County.
roof on it this week.
Yeah, they put a roof on it.
Yeah, they're from up in Cobb County.
You got
It's really
some trees
exciting.
cut up from around it, it looks good.
So he's going to clean it up. That was a good thing.
Oh, no, that's.
All right. Next up is going to be the Kiddy Park.
And William's wife had actually sent me the drawing that's in here. She brought it up, you know, there.
Yeah, I told her just to drop it off, not to have you give it to everybody. I just some movement I did.
I know, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to discuss it, and figure it was, now it's out there for everyone to see. Great doodling, by the way.
Yeah. I thought my kid did it.
He's talking with a professional on the design school.
Well, the big thing about it is I think like a kid, so parts work.
I liked what I saw, and I took a couple of these books home to see what kind of stuff. There's more than just this one, but this one gives you some overall. It gives you some visual pictures of things that they have in here, things that may fit on this area. So I was looking at the dimensions versus what we had, and I think we've got enough space to do something pretty nice.
The one that's there, I kind of measured when I was down there that day, and I think it squares off at about 27 feet, and I think you could go up about 35 feet square.
Yeah.
Pretty easy with hinging on leaving that existing swing set, because it's in pretty good shape. But just looking at the lot that's there, I know we kind of talked walls, and this is something that a professional grader needs to look at. One of my harebrained ideas,
Yeah.
somebody with a lot of
There's lights
grading
flashing.
experience,
Yeah.
probably needs to look at that. Looking at it from the gates, the property line over, I guess kind of splits with the driveway there. I don't
If
know.
I'm looking at that, is that here from this way looking forward, or is that this way looking forward?
We're looking at it from the 105 measurement.
Okay,
That
so
way,
this
looking at
way.
it from the street.
Okay,
From the gate area.
Correct. Yeah, the 105 is the street property line.
Okay.
The way that hillside is, I think we could probably just clean that up and move that fence over, because there's not a lot of bang for the buck there to actually try to wall that off and backfill it and everything to pick up a couple of feet. You can get a couple feet probably with the existing fence over, and then I would probably just clean that up, kind of landscape it, take that fence down the hill. I put a couple of rough measurements just because I didn't know exactly where things laid. I know it looked like from the survey that the property pin is right at the power pole at the corner of that gentleman's building.
Now, what about property pins that's in that building?
There's a PP on the plat that says for power pole, and it says the corner.
There was a power pole here.
Is there,
There's one at each end.
Yeah.
There's a power pole marker here, and then I believe that corner was marked at power
Yeah.
pole at the
Yeah,
corner of the
this-
building too.
All these pins is in,
Mhm.
if you found it.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I said that there's, down at the corner of the building.
Did you go in that old
I didn't go
building?
in the building, but like I said,
It's
it's
inside.
marked PP, showing the pin being right at the power pole, so whether it's at one side or the other a little bit, but that's what I said, I'd probably hold the fence up a little bit from the actual property line.
Yeah.
would it benefit us, I know you say backfilling probably wouldn't be a good thing, but would it benefit us to slope it a little bit? We could slope it down?
It's a possibility, it'd just be getting the old fence down and seeing if you might be able to get a couple more feet into the park, or if not, go back with the fence about where it's at, but I definitely would say clean it up, because there's some erosion of it and stuff that probably needs to be taken care of.
I think that there's also been some issues with people using that property and,
Yeah, I
That's
think
a
cleaning
right
it up and
way, yeah.
getting it kind of exposed might help with that. And like I said, you take the fence down, and once you get past that, like I said, I drew a straight line, but I
Yeah.
like straight lines. You could hook it back over a little closer to the property line once you determine exactly where that pin is. And I held it a little off the back property line, just again, kind of keeping a straight line where you come up to that line, the pins between the power poles at the street. Again, you can put some jogs there and pick up a few square feet. Figured come in the gate, the existing swing set there. I think you got some pretty good grade. You could probably add an ADA swing to the end of it, take up one of the spaces. Then harebrained idea, the other 3 spaces, you make those like your toddlers, your smaller kids. And then down at the hill, you'll notice I've got,
I see the big swing set for older kids.
yeah, I mean, it's kids love it. If you notice on that hillside, that hill's not actually that bad. And just a random thought off my head, if you could drop that down to a mowable slope and actually install, kids love slides.
Yeah.
Instead of paying money for a wall that you're gonna have to maintain, keep up, you may be
One
able
of
to
those
do
tube slides, maybe?
tube slide,
Like a-
ground actual, because most people don't like slides because the kids have to climb up so high and everything. You put slides in basically at grade. Your grading down here is not that bad, your upper end, there's already
I
a
did, I tried
swell.
one that broke the pumpkin
It
park.
would be nothing to be able to put a path in there. Well, if you handle your ADA up top, you don't even have to get access to the bottom. The biggest swing set you down there, some tables in between the 2 areas. Parents sit there, you got your smaller kids up here, kind of, the big kids are going crazy, running circles, sliding down the hill, big swing set. You haven't put any money in the walls that don't really.
One of
benefit.
those Apple places up on the 52, I take the kids up there every year, but they have a slope like that, and they put one of those, they dug it out and put one of those big round plastic things in there and anchored it into the ground. Those kids have a blast on that.
And
Older
you don't have near the fall hazard. And
No.
I said, your grade around there'd have to be some grading done at the bottom. But there's already a swell that comes around the upper end, carrying your drainage from
Yeah.
up here. I think it could be modified just a little bit, like I said, you could do probably
It's
some
already-
gravel,
okay.
the slate or whatever, walkway. I can just picture kids running circles, swinging, sliding all day long. And then, like I said, you haven't spent money on walls, then you end up having to have guardrails on your walls.
I'm
Just
gonna
random
pass
ideas
this-
of
I'm
things.
gonna pass this down to you, and
You're nominated?
if you don't mind,
Hey,
take a
you
look
have
at
been
that.
I
and,
looked around down,
Come up with a couple of, because it gives the dimensions and everything, come up with a couple of ideas that you think may look good in this area. I know you're like me, I'm a park connoisseur, as I love them, so I go to all the parks. I just like-
swinging with my grandson when we were
I
down
like
there.
them, I love those things, but take a look and see what you think may look good for that area. So, or may fit in that space. And then, you know, I like the idea of sloping it, that way we can at least use that. And then, take it on out and, you know, maybe it would clean that up
I
anyway.
think we can use all of that for access between the upper two. And I said, you need to throw that along.
Look at it sometime.
And that slope's actually not that bad.
Right.
I don't think it would take much to work it out, and depending on exactly where it runs. Like I said, I showed about 7 or 8 feet off the back property line, but we definitely don't have to stay that far away. That'd be just a safe measurement.
Anybody else have any ideas with regards to the Kiddy Park? I know Nathan, you were involved in that, and you've been looking as well.
Sounds good to me.
I think I've got a couple more books in there too, and I can pass off a couple to you, and maybe, you can take a look at it too. He's got it kind of marked out.
I'll watch the tabs range when you holler to and bring them down to you.
And I'll get I think there's a couple more books in there that I'll get you, because Little Tykes is just one of the builders, but you could go with any of those people that does that, but give you an idea maybe what would fit in that space. Okay, we'll move on from the Kiddy Park, and we'll go to new business, Safe Dig Month Proclamation.
I forgot you were back there and we're getting moved up to the front.
Thought we was gonna move him to the front.
He was hiding back there. I didn't see him until I looked in.
I was in the back there.
I'm sorry, I wish you would have said something.
I'm sorry.
He really loves these meetings. He said he wants to join.
Hello, y'all. My name is John Kent with Atlanta Gas Light Company. I'm here on behalf of Atlanta Gas Light Company in Georgia 811 to thank the city of Nelson for participation in an important national event, which is Safe Digging Month for the month of April. But we also want to dig every day safely, so that's why we want to dial 811 before you dig.
Okay, we can put that on our website.
And I'll have some brochures out here on the counter. So it's very important because every day I see damages everywhere. People cutting gas lines, other utilities, and they did call 811. So if we all dial 811 prior to digging, we'll work safely, and it will save someone's life.
We may need to let them know that out there in our subdivision.
I was gonna ask about that, because I got sprinkler systems and they're gonna come right through there.
I have no idea what that is about.
It's just utilities.
Yeah, it's just, when you call 811, if you, after 3 days, you don't see any paint and flags anywhere around, you might want to give them a heads up and say, hey, I didn't get it located.
Did you guys just do some painting? Was that you and Laurel Lake that put the dashes? Okay, I have a feeling that's TDS. Can you?
It's not us. They've done.
It was somebody for
Sprinklers
TV.
or community in your yard?
Huh?
Community sprinklers or?
What?
Red is
Community
power.
sprinklers or?
No, I have my own sprinkler system, I just,
Yeah, they wouldn't locate.
He said-
right, so what are they gonna do, just cut right through them, how do they know where they're at?
I don't think they're doing anything. I
They're on
think
the right of way.
just figuring out where they are.
Huh?
If they're on the right of way, they will.
I mean, do they have a right of way?
Yeah.
How is that exactly, how does that
Laurel
work?
Lake, they don't. Laurel Lake?
The city.
Yeah, I have utilities.
25 foot from the center line.
No. The city right away in Laurel Lake is curb to curb.
Right,
The utility, I don't know what it is.
I'm sure they have something.
yeah, they can't, I mean, they're gonna be big trouble. I got a lot of people who are not happy, but it's his turn.
Yeah,
But-
go ahead.
With that, hey, thanks for that comment. With that said, you know, the sprinklers, we can fix those back if someone cuts those accidentally, but when you start cutting power and you start cutting gas, it gets a little dangerous. So that's
Right.
why we want to always put that paint flag on the ground, and it's free. And
And what do you guys mark?
Sir,
You just mark or gas only, or gas and electric?
our locating company is USIC, and they go out and locate anything. If you say your address is 2078 Laurel Cove, where I used to live in Laurel Lake,
Mhm.
they would come out and I'd say, do the front of the house and all the way around it, our entire property. But if you say locate the left side, that's all they're gonna locate. So always give a bigger scope of what you want to locate, so they'll locate everything for you.
Okay.
So, if I can get a volunteer, I hope you sign up. Hopefully the mayor or the council will let us hang it somewhere, maybe on the baseball bat, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we
I
put it on
wouldn't
the
talk
fence
to
for
him.
you.
Yeah.
That's
Don
awesome.
said he's just
I
spraying
got
that.
some gyro.
I know, it's, I did call him, but I saw who that was.
Okay.
You want that? You want that straight up, you know, we.
I don't need a check, you can bring gas.
Yeah, if you'll leave that with us, we'll take it and put it down on our baseball, have the maintenance guys put it on the fence line for us.
Okay.
Cool, okay?
Thank y'all very much.
Hey, thank you.
We're right across the front of our
We didn't get to you
subdivision.
before now.
So they
Oh,
can
that's
see.
all right.
And watch the sprinklers.
Yeah, right.
Does anybody else have any questions about Safe Dig Month? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn? Wait.
Vote on your proclamation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
sorry. Can I get a motion to,
Get signed. That's what I'm getting.
can I get a motion to approve the Safe Dig Proclamation? David?
I'll make it.
James, all in favor? Unanimous.
Now, who seconded the motion?
It was David and James.